What's happening, everybody? It's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 6 4 key game picks. Now, thoughts on week number 5? Well, let's look at some things about last week. Bengals, Broncos, Packers, Falcons, and Patriots. What do they all have in common? For the time being, they're still undefeated. 4 of those teams are 5-0. The Patriots are the only ones that haven't reached that point just yet. They are at 4-0 because they had a bye week. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago actually. But from these teams that have been undefeated, really, I think it's sort of safe to say that the teams right now that really are, in all honesty, the only contenders that are Super Bowl contending wise are really the Patriots and the Packers. These two teams, they could be on a collision course to possibly meet in the Super Bowl by looks of it, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself just yet because there's still a ways to go. And I look at the rest of the schedule, and who's to say there's a possibility that the Patriots will do what they did like in 2007, well, they'll go 16-0 in the regular season. If you look at their schedule, they have it pretty easy, in all honesty. I don't see anyone contending with this team. Could possibly give them a 1 loss or maybe 2 losses for that matter. Look, Packers, in all honesty, they're good. They are good. But eventually there may be a time where they could lose a game, but tough to say right now with their schedule right now. But there's no question that the Packers and the Patriots are the class of the NFL this season. Because the Falcons, they barely escaped with the win last week against the Redskins. The Broncos' defense is what's keeping them undefeated because there's games that they should have lost. The Bengals, lucky they survive against the Seahawks. I originally picked the Seahawks last week and ended up losing that one, but it actually was a good game, which I expected. I expected that one to be a tight game all the way, and I was right. But I'll give props to the Bengals, and somehow they did a fantastic job in that comeback when really Seattle looked like they were going to win that game. But in all honesty, Packers and Patriots are really the class of the NFL this season, and I don't think anybody in both the AFC and NFC conferences is going to be able to stop these two. But I don't know. Let's just see if I get proven wrong, or maybe a lot of experts may be wrong too. But I think we can all agree that these two teams are the teams that could well be represented in Super Bowl 50. Injury notes. It's a big blow for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jamal Charles got hurt, and I don't know the diagnosis. I think there was reports saying he is out for the season. I don't know if that's true or not, but you could leave a comment on there as I looking at my laptop. The diagnosis doesn't look good for Jamal Charles. More like he's going to be out for the season. It's a huge blow to Kansas City's running game and pretty much could put them out of contention now in the AFC West. It's just unfortunate. Anybody who saw the Monday night game, oh boy. Wow. Pittsburgh, give them their props that they were able to beat the Chargers on a last-minute touchdown. This game really hurt me. But, hey, Pittsburgh needed it. Both Chargers and Pittsburgh Steelers needed this game, but it turned Pittsburgh just was the victor in that one other than San Diego. I really wanted San Diego to win, but Pittsburgh did it. They beat them fair and square in the end. Anyways, let's get into Week 6. I do apologize for a little bit of my voice. I've been clearing my throat the last few days, but I am fine. There's nothing wrong with me, so I'm going to try to get this in as quickly as possible here for my picks here. All right, let's get into the picks. Key game number 1, it is the Patriots at the Colts. Once again, what's the headline for this? Deflategate again that the Colts are trying to... Now, look, I said this before once already. Everybody in the NFL needs to just, you know what? If you want to beat the Patriots, just get out there and find a way to outcoach and outsmart Bill Belichick and his team. Because if you don't, they're going to kick your butts no matter what. Patriots are an 8-point favorite in this one. There's no status yet on whether for the Colts if Hasselbeck or Andrew Luck is going to get the start for this game. They're trying to keep the Patriots guessing, but they can throw that many guesses to that team all they want. Patriots are a heavy favorite in this one, and I don't see anything that's going to change the way this game's going to come about here because really the Patriots are just that good. The Colts are going to really have to find a way to put up points against a pretty good Patriot defense. And I'm not going to say great defense, a good defense. It's going to be a quick pick here. There's no question you got to go with the Patriots here. I know for a fact that these two franchises have met a lot and have had good games, but that was when Peyton Manning used to be the quarterback for the Colts during that era. But you have Andrew Luck, and he has not beaten the Patriots in his career. And even if he starts in this game, I don't know how that offensive line is going to be able to handle that Patriot defense. And that's why it's fairly easy picking this one. You got to go with the Patriots here, even though I really didn't want to put this as a key game because the Colts are barely winning their games. They're lucky they're over 500 with a record of 3-2 and barely in first place in that AFC South division. But when it comes to this game, Patriots over the Colts, no question. Key game number 2, the Steelers at the Cardinals. This should be quite a game. Steelers were lucky to beat San Diego last week in that last-minute touchdown. Michael Vick and that offense really did a decent job of keeping Pittsburgh in that game, which in all hindsight I thought Pittsburgh would have lost, but I knew the Chargers defense had problems, and I knew it was going to be too much for them. And even though I did pick the Chargers last week against them because I thought Pittsburgh, they looked out of sync, and with that offense, who knows what that offense was going to be. But like I said, I give the Steelers credit last week. They beat the Chargers now. But unfortunately, for this game against the Cardinals, the Steelers are going to run into a brick wall, and it's going to be bad. Cardinals dismantled the Lions last week without little effort, and who's to say they're going to do the same thing to the Steelers here. Cardinals are actually a 3-point favorite in this one. They're not by much. It might be a good game, but there's no question. You got to go with the Arizona Cardinals here. Cardinals pretty much have the better team. If Ben Roethlisberger was quarterbacking in this game, that would be a much different story. But when you still have Michael Vick at quarterback, let's just see if he's able to do it again like he did against the Chargers and find a way to beat a pretty good Arizona Cardinal team. But I just don't see it happening here. Offense-wise for the Steelers, they got problems. Defense, they did rose to the occasion last week, but let's just see if they're able to stop the Cardinals here, and it's not going to be easy, and you got to go with the Cardinals in this one. Their offense is just putting up points like another. They are a much more healthier team, and there's no reason to go against them. No question, Cardinals over the Steelers. Key game number 3, the Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. By football experts, Seattle's actually a 7-point favorite in this one. I kind of don't get it. How Seattle's a 7-point favorite. Look, you had a lead last week, and your defense wasn't able to hold it. And who's to say what's going to happen with that against Carolina? Carolina's playing very, very well, and they're still undefeated as well. I forgot to mention that Carolina was also undefeated, but their record is 4-0. Look, I'm not going to buy the Panthers all that much because let's just see how far they can get, because I do expect them to lose a game here. And this is a tough one here. This one, even though Seattle is a 7-point favorite, that's pretty huge. There's no question this is going to be a very close game here. Because Seattle's defense, the way they played last week against the Bengals, who's to say that they can be able to stop Cam Newton in this one? The way the Carolina Panthers have been playing, they're playing at a pretty good level right now. And there's no question I expect a tight game all the way. So this is kind of a tough one to pick here, to who wins this game here. But I have to decide right now here. No question this game's a huge toss-up here. But I'll go with the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's good at home. They've always been good at home, even though this season they're really struggling with their offensive line. But they should be able to play a pretty decent game here, and their defense better be ready for Carolina. I expect a very close game here, but I think Seattle will barely pull it out. They'll come out the victor probably more or less by a field goal. And I look at it probably more or less, it's probably going to be a low-scoring game as well. I don't see Carolina pulling up a lot of points. Seattle's defense is still pretty good, but last week they were dismantled by the Bengals. But I think Seattle bounces back here. But it'll be a much closer game than people think. That 7 points has the odds makers have. That should be a lot lower than that, but that's what they say, and I'm going to go with it. But I like Seattle in this one in a very close game, no question about it. Seahawks over the Panthers. And key game number 4, the Monday night game, Giants at the Eagles. Giants in a very great comeback against the 49ers last week. Eli Manning and that Giants team really did a fantastic job against the San Francisco defense, which really that 49er team pretty much is done for the season. They look totally out of sync. They just don't look like a team to be reckoned with at all. They're just terrible. But they got a much tougher task ahead against an Eagles team. But here's the issue with the Eagles here. You don't know what you're going to get out of this team. I do apologize. That's my phone going off here. Sorry about that. Let me quickly turn that off. I know it's kind of embarrassing for me doing this on video, but I like to do everything in one take. Sorry about that. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get with this Philadelphia Eagles team. Last week they played very well against the Saints. They dismantled them. But you got a Giants team that's getting confidence here. Even though Philadelphia is a 4-point favorite in this one, it should be much less than that. Probably maybe 3 or 2. But it's tough to say what you're going to get out of this Philadelphia Eagles team. I don't know how this game's going to come about. And I guarantee you this will be a close game. No question about it. I expect this game to be close all the way. This is another toss-up here in how this game is going to come about here, because this is a very big divisional game here. Even though the Giants are barely clean onto first place, the Eagles are not that far behind them by only 1 game, and this is a big game right here for both these teams here. But I'm going to pick the Giants here. They're gaining confidence, even though I know they do have some injury issues right now. I don't know if Victor Cruz will be back for this game. He's still questionable for this one. I mean, as at the time of this video, it's going to come down to to Monday to see if he will be available. But it's tough to say right now at this point. If Victor Cruz is ready to play in this game, I expect the Giants to have a much more favorable number than the Eagles would. But I expect this game to be very, very close. I don't know. Like I was saying right now, I don't know if Cruz is going to be back in this game. You guys, like I said, as at the time of this video, you have to wait and see. I mean, you have to keep up to date with the NFL right now, because I don't know the whole situation right now at this point with him. But going back to this game and all, let's just see how well Philadelphia can stop the Giants here. Their defense, I still have a lot of questions here. I mean, just last week against the Saints, they were able to stop the Saints. But let's just see how well they do with the Giants. The way the Giants are playing right now, they're gaining confidence. And there's no question I'm going to pick the Giants in this one in a very, very, very close game here. It should be a good Monday night game, but I like the Giants in this one by a field goal. Giants over the Eagles. That wraps up my picks for week number 6, everyone. Go to the sportblog.blogspot.com for all of my week 6 picks. And until then, I will see you all next week when I talk about my picks for week number 7. Take care and enjoy your football weekend.